Welcome home, Rep Pack, and welcome to the archive. Today we are going to be covering something I could not be more excited for. And that is the complete first season of SpongeBob SquarePants. By looking into, with unnecessary levels of detail, the complete first season box set. If you guys are new here, I covered the Nautical Nonsense DVD, and you guys loved that video, so I wanted to cover my absolute favorite, and that is this box right here. I do plan to cover all the special discs, but I just got a little ahead of myself because I was so excited that I wanted to just do the complete first season box. And during my research, I made some incredible discoveries. We're gonna find out and learn so many awesome things together, and also exposing some dark SpongeBob lore, possibly confirming and solving the mystery to some iconic SpongeBob theories, all contained within this box here. What I consider an absolute masterpiece of physical media. I love it so much. I have a sealed copy right here in my collection, but we'll be looking into this copy right here, this open one, checking out all of the secrets on the inside, the outside, and somewhere as usual in the center, whatever that is.
Mr. Owl, how many licks does it take to get
center of the SpongeBob Complete Season 1 box set?
Let's go ahead and get started. Taking a look here, we're gonna start with the front of the box here. If you grew up in the 2000s, there's a good chance that you had this first season box set right here. And if you didn't have it, you probably had one of the many special discs that came out containing season 1 episodes. Like I said, with Nautical Nonsense, Sea Stories, and a few others. And there was also several VHSs that contained season 1 episodes as well that you likely owned. But this was for the coolest kids in the cul-de-sac. If you owned this, you were amongst the elite that had every single episode of the first season. And we're gonna talk about the episodes that are contained and all that stuff, but on the box cover here, you can see on the front of the box, you got SpongeBob there looking through a bamboo frame. And you know I love it because it has the classic style of the Green Label era of SpongeBob products. Again, for those of us in the know, the Green Label era is the first ever wave of SpongeBob product. We did see this cover also with the PSP UMD disc. And of course, as we go through this, we'll be getting into the nautical nerdy knowledge. We'll be checking out some of the covers that came out throughout the world. But we only got volume 1 on the PSP, but it does still share that cover with the complete series 1. Believe it or not, there's even some secrets that are contained within the box that I am going to reveal to you guys today that are small details that you might go your entire life without knowing, and you probably would have been perfectly fine. Like, nothing would have changed for you. But once you know it, it will be in your brain forever, and you will never unsee it when you see this box in the future. But let's continue on here. So when you look at the bottom, we're gonna go from front to bottom to back to the top. So if you look at the bottom here, you can see you have the UPC code right here. You can scan that in, and of course the SpongeBob box set's gonna come up. But you might notice this little sticker here, and you might see a little flash of something underneath it. So this sticker is glued onto the cover really well. It almost never really comes off. And if you look at the sealed copy, you might not even notice that sticker's on there at all because they put it on there so well. But since I have 2 copies of this sealed in my collection, I'm gonna deface this one a little bit in order to share this with you guys. So behind this sticker that you're not even supposed to see is more information. So we're gonna go ahead and do this together. We're gonna unveil what is behind this. I'm gonna try to do it carefully because I don't wanna rip up the information here at the same time. Once you go ahead and peel this back, if you continue to go to the back, you have this little hidden image of a pineapple on there, SpongeBob's pineapple in fact, and the bubbles continue onto the back here. But it's super crazy because somebody had to actually design this and make the decision to put this on the back of the box, knowing that it may have never been seen. You can see this sticker did not come off easy. It rips the box. I don't think their intentions were you to ever really open this up, but yet still somebody printed this little hidden SpongeBob pineapple on the back. And these are the little things that just warm my heart to find out. And they continued this trend on to season 2, and season 2 is going to get its own video, but you can see the same thing here happened on season 2. They put the barcode on the back, and then if you were to peel that back, you get this down here, which is again all that information contained on the back of the DVD here. And it also reveals this little Plankton cutting his way into SpongeBob's house. But the thing about season 2 where the disc slid out of the bottom here, so it would have required you more than likely, unless you did it from the top, to remove that tab, and it was also perforated for you to tear that off. So it was much more likely for you to stumble upon this little Plankton Easter egg.
Mixed together with the most important ingredient of all, 4 heaping pounds of freshly ground plankton?
But with this one, since the disc slid out the side of the box, likeliness was majority of people would have never actually peeled this sticker panel off of the DVD box. And while thrifting, I found dozens of these complete series box sets, and never once did I ever see one that didn't have this sticker revealed here. So if you guys have it with the sticker on there, let me know. And if yours has a pineapple on the back, let me know as well. But for a lot of people, kind of a little hidden piece. But continuing on here, we have, since we're on the back of the box here, you have the Spongebob logo up there on the top, the complete first season, as well as you have these special features. And it has so many special features we're gonna check out in great detail by looking at them and reacting to them together. And like I said, some dark secrets are gonna be revealed in some of those special features that you will not believe. But a couple of them we are going to skip in this video only because we are gonna be covering the special disc in the SpongeBob series. Like for example, Sea Stories here, which some of these special features actually come from discs like these. We are going to be covering only the ones that are exclusive to this box and saving those ones that were originally exclusive for the special disc for those special disc videos. But trust me, some of the best ones are the ones that are exclusive to this box. But you also get to see the episode titles there, but just the nostalgic icon that is season 1. If you look at these episodes, Pizza Delivery, Bubble Stand, Valentine's Day, Chaperone. You can basically name any episode and there's 10, 20, 30, 40 screenshots that are full-blown legendary memes because they're so notable and nostalgic for so many people around the world. So I forgot to mention this, but this is actually the almost complete first season because the first episode, Help Wanted, is not actually on this disc. There was an issue with the estate of Tiny Tim for using this song in the episode. And due to that, they were unable to get the clearing to put that episode on the disc. So they had to take that one out of this disc, but we did get it later in season 3, but did want to clarify that. Debatably the greatest season of SpongeBob ever. You guys let me know your favorite season of SpongeBob. Many of you guys know what my favorite season is already. I'm gonna go ahead and save that for when that video comes up. So you guys let me know your favorite season. Is it SpongeBob season 1? So on the side here, on the spine of the box, has a SpongeBob logo, the complete first season. And you'll also see the crew of some of the characters there. You've got SpongeBob in his hall monitor outfit, but you'll also see Sandy there, and she's kind of floating in the air if you look closely. You don't see Sandy's feet actually below her. We can get this exact shot of Sandy up on screen here, and we could overlay it over this particular shot, and you can see that her feet would be there on the floor, but for whatever reason aren't there. So she's just a floating torso and head as of this moment. What do you think is going to happen when you come from dumb old stupid Texas? Shout out to Texas. You guys are awesome. I wish I lived in Texas. I live in California and it's not that great. And then of course in the top there you've got Plankton stuck in a bubble floating towards the top of the box, and you actually see him in that same bubble on the Sega Arcade Redemption machine that we have here in the room. So that image is pretty iconic when it comes to Generation 1 SpongeBob product. So that's the entire outside of the box. Now we've got to get into the disc. So let's go ahead and start with disc number 1 here. You've got on the front there, you've got SpongeBob there, and he's got the artwork from the episode hall monitor. And then of course on the bottom you've got all those logos, you know, copyright logos. Just, you know, you can't, you know, nobody wants to get sued, so they got to put that on everything to make sure.
Oh, the pain! I can't feel my arms and legs. I think they're broken. I'll have to sue for my pain and suffering. Sue!
So popping it open here, and then on the top there you'll see it does have one special feature, and that's where we're gonna make a dark discovery, and that is the Plankton cast commentary, where we're gonna get an audio commentary from the majority of the SpongeBob voice cast here in the US. So popping it open here, that's when the treasure begins. We get a beautiful, one of my favorite things about this box set, a beautiful letter from the creator of the show himself, Steven Hillenburg. And you guys let me know if you guys have experienced this in any other DVD set, I can't say that I have with any other of the complete series I have in my collection, box sets, a direct letter from the creator to the fan base. This whole box, in my opinion, feels like a love letter to the community and the fans that helped make this first season a success. So let's go ahead and read the letter here. And I'll have it on screen there for you guys.
Ahoy there. What you've got in your hands is the DVD box set of the first season of SpongeBob SquarePants.
I'll stop doing this, sorry. That's right, her maiden voyage. Well, sure, the show's a lot like a ship. You don't know if she'll hold together till she hits the water. I spent many a sleepless nights in my bunk not wondering if the world was flat and are we gonna fall off the edge, but whether an entire show could be based on a rectangular sponge. Would they think he's a piece of undersea cheese? If tuna is the chicken of the sea, I could see SpongeBob being the cheese of the sea.
Say cheese.
Is it okay for an octopus to only have 6 legs? And if you show fire underwater, will everybody mutiny and turn the channel? I mean, there are times where they even question it themselves in the show.
Hey, if we're underwater, how could there be a...
Well, my cups raised to those of you who didn't, and to the talent of the hardworking SpongeBob crew who helped build a tight little ship, sail her off the edge of the earth and into the sky. Welcome aboard, Steven Hillenburg. And you have his iconic signature there that you will see on the back of every single SpongeBob product, pretty much ever. But you can tell that this one was personally written and even personally signed by the fact that this signature, comparatively to his regular signature that you see across all his products, is actually different. Which to me is a small detail, but means so much that he actually went out of his way to make this personal piece that then was printed to put inside the complete first season. R.I.P. to the legend Steven Hillenburg. Let's go ahead and take a look at disc number 1 here. And of course you got SpongeBob in his hall monitor outfit, kind of to accompany the outside of the box, kind of blend it all together. Small detail again that means so much, especially considering nowadays you get disc like this. I don't want to watch that. I barely want to. I wouldn't even, if that was a plate, I wouldn't even want to eat off of it. That's boring. Why have we switched to these gray, sad looking, pathetic disc? So let's go ahead and throw disc number 1 in the DVD player and look at it closer. First up, it has this sweet like collage slash mosaic artwork of season 1 moments opening up to the SpongeBob logo. It plays a couple clips as you can see there, but then you get these, oh yes, that right there. Those awesome little freeze frames of the characters to kind of introduce you to them, because this being the first season of the show, there's the possibility that you might not know who these characters are. Maybe your parents are watching with you and it kind of wants to get you that familiarity with the characters themselves, which is just crazy because they would never, they're beyond introducing themselves now. Let's just watch a couple more of these freeze frames because they're pretty epic if you ask me. So you can see the text pop up from all different directions. You have the play all, the episode selection, and the special feature, because there is one special feature that is on disc 1. So we're gonna click on episode selection here in a moment, but you got the background there, which is Mrs. Puff's boating school. And there's just so many things about this that I love. It's like they have lockers. Like, I love how to make that connection with a lot of kids watching it, they made SpongeBob's boating school kind of like actual school. When I got my driving instructor, it was like a 400-pound Samoan man that was like just built like literally Mr. Incredible. Like he barely fit in the car. He looked like he could have thrown the car to wherever we were going. Honestly, I did my thing. He told me what to do, what not to do. Never did I need a book. Never did I have to write an essay. So they have lockers, but then not just that, you also see a urinal in the boys' bathroom there, which sets up the implication that the fish have. So clicking on the episode selection, you get all the different episode options, of course, in like this Tetris style shaping that highlight as you go over them to try to click on it. Every time you go about 4 episodes through, you actually pop up a different character that you'll see with their sick outlining. But a strange one actually is you see Sandy there, and you can see it's an inappropriate, or I guess not that inappropriate, maybe that's not the right word, an incorrect image of Sandy. You see that her tail is visible with her costume on. And if you see Sandy's first appearance, many people may not know, when she first appears in Tea at the Tree Dome, her tail is not visible while she's in her underwater gear. And I'm pretty sure that her tail isn't visible in any of the episodes in season 1. It's not until later seasons that you actually see the tail outside of the costume being implemented in her designs. So let's click on special features and you see audio commentary from Plankton. And you see Plankton rubbing his grimy hands together. You can never trust a person doing this. Unless they're using hand sanitizer. Even then, a little sus. So let's go ahead and jump into Plankton's audio commentary. Again, I cannot show you everything in the audio commentary. Whenever I do these videos, like I always say, I'm tiptoeing through the window close to getting copyrighted, but I'm just going to put up some of my favorite and most interesting moments of this audio commentary so you guys can watch it with me. So at the start, you'll get to hear that the entire main crew with Plankton, Sandy, Tom Kenny, Bill Fingerbach, and also Roger Bumpus as Squidward. Oh, and Clancy Brown. All, like literally everybody, even freaking Mr. Lawrence as Plankton, all of them appear in this audio commentary.
Ooh,
Hey,
Plankton.
what's this one about?
Yes, I'm Tom Kenny. I play Spongebob.
Bill Fagerbach, and I've never seen a Patrick exclamation mark episode.
I'm Roger Bumpus. I do Squidward, kind of.
And Carolyn Lawrence, Sandy Cheeks, yeehaw!
Clancy Brown, Mr. Krabs.
And I am Plankton.
Oh, back
This is
off.
Mr. Lawrence. This episode is mine.
Like, again, this season 1 box set was just something you don't get nowadays. If you look at this comparatively to the season 13 disc box set, I guess, the only special feature is the title zone, a SpongeBob Universe special. That is the only special feature in all of season 13's disc. I just don't imagine it being a possibility anymore of getting all of those people in a room to do an audio commentary for a single episode, but this is before the show had really blown up to the scale that it is now, or even it was just a few years later. So these type of things were still manageable.
So this was the first Plankton episode. This is his first appearance. Is that a Nick Jennings painting? Who did
Yes,
that painting?
I'm sure it is.
Artwork.
All the close-ups, yeah, always.
So you also get to hear that most of the close-ups at this time being season 1, again, this is during the era where everything was done by hand during the cell animation era. This was the only season that it was like that. After that, they switched to digital. The close-ups that you see for SpongeBob or any of the characters were actually paintings. Typically, all the art for the show would be separated between the cell art and the background art, but a painting is just, of course, all of that being together because it's a close-up that doesn't necessarily have to move. And apparently, this is Mr. Lawrence's favorite moment from the episode Plankton.
And tomorrow is my birthday. And you know what I like more than
My favorite joke. My favorite joke.
A booster seat?
boosters.
And then you get what is confirmation of probably one of the darkest SpongeBob theories of all time. And it's crazy because we got complete confirmation of the Bikini Atoll connection in the Nautical Nonsense video that I posted a little while ago. Steven Hillenburg said it himself. And these are things that were theories in the late 2000s, early 2010s that we saw all over the internet. And this theory is the 7 deadly sins theory, that all the characters in SpongeBob are based off of the 7 deadly sins.
What's great about this? That's what's fun about his character and all these characters being connected with the 7 deadly sins, you know, which Steve wanted as a theme for this show.
Did he really?
Yeah, that was
Wow.
it.
As for the whole series, the 7 deadly sins?
Each character represented one of the 7 deadly
which
sins.
one am I?
And if you don't know what the 7 deadly sins are, they are essentially the 7, same way we have the 10 commandments, there's 7 deadly sins that are supposed to be like the worst sins that you can kind of commit that further separates you and your relationship with God. So therefore, they would be the most deadliest sins because it separates you further from Him. There's a whole history on that you'd have to look into, but the idea of that being kind of the core of the characters is just an interesting decision. I mean, it worked. It's an amazing show. I don't think a majority of the characters are always something that you should look up into. A lot of times those attributes of those characters end up leading them down a path that ends up not working out that well for them and gets them in pretty big predicaments. But I think that takes some like deeper thought than most parents just hearing like, oh, the characters are based off of sin, and then immediately just keeping their kid from watching the show rather than seeing some of the lessons that they might learn along the way. But the thought of it and the confirmation of that being the core of the characters does seem to be, in a way, kind of factual based off of this commentary, in a way. And how many YouTube videos got made, how many creepypastas, how many 4chan and Facebook articles we all read growing up that push these as theories, likely were probably started by people that were just really into the media already when we were kids, maybe even adults, that had seen these behind the scenes features or just noticed that connection well enough to derive it. And we also get to find out what 7 deadly sin is, Sandy.
One of the 7 deadly sins.
Which one am I? Am I,
You're karate.
What else could it be?
Karate is the 8th deadly sin.
The deadly 8th sin is kung fu. Mr. Lawrence even says that he doesn't know which characters represent exactly which ones, of course. But I think that was kind of him kind of backpedaling a little bit, if I'm being honest. But I'll put a little rubric on screen about what a lot of fan speculation has been as to which characters represent which deadly sin. And the last little note for the audio commentary, I think just fits on brand with the show, is there's a good chance that a lot of the underwear humor in SpongeBob is due to the success of the Captain Underpants series. That could have just been an offhand joke by Tom Kenny. I feel like I need to have a reason to explain why I had this poster in my bedroom as a kid. You know, most kids had Sports Illustrated models on their wall. I had a naked SpongeBob. You're not surprised. Let's be real. So that brings us out of the first disc here, and we're gonna be going on to disc number 2. Also, talking about some of the episodes, I was gonna save this for the nautical nerdy knowledge at the end of the episode. As I mentioned with Help Wanted, there was a few different episodes that actually had different music in the background of certain scenes than their TV counterparts due to copyright issues. Let's go into disc number 2 here, another iconic cover. You have SpongeBob there with Plankton in the classic fun moment. I'm pretty sure I had an alarm clock as a kid that has like this exact moment with SpongeBob and Plankton with the fun lettering like this. If you wonder why SpongeBob looks like such a smooth boy me Bob, it's because he doesn't have any holes in the side of his left side of his head besides the bottom one. So he just looks extra smooth for some reason. And let's just go ahead and edit away all of those holes. Shot of SpongeBob with all of his holes missing. It actually looks kind of normal.
What happened?
I don't know. I guess I became permanently normal.
And looking at the back here, you guys can see you have all the episodes again. Bangers, this is season 1. Every single one is pretty much fire. So looking at the disc though, of course, it's the same thing as the first disc. Kind of the theme follows into the actual box there with the disc having the same art on the front. And hey, maybe duplicate art, but let's go back to season 13 here for a moment. This looks like a Krabby Mondays burger. My God, this is, you see me? This is sad. But let's go ahead and throw disc number 2 because we have a lot more to look at on the inside of this one than we do on the outside. I'm not doing this for like comedic effect. I edit it to be fun, but like genuinely this thing just never sticks. So starting up disc number 2 here, you get the awesome little freeze frame moments of the different characters. We'll show a couple different ones this time. So you showed only a couple characters in the last one. Go and get straight to the episode selection. So you have the different options there. You got Squidward as the freeze frame there, Pearl, Gary, and SpongeBob. But hey, I already knew this. I don't know why I made it seem like I paused it there for a moment and I was just like, oh, now I noticed this. I did a lot of research for this. In the background there, you'll see SpongeBob. Let's just act like I did that. Oh, stop, pause there real quick. Check that out. In the background there, in the background there, you've got SpongeBob freeze framed, you know, running. And you can see the patty vault in the background there. And a fun little fact is the patty vault doesn't actually appear until Just One Bite. See how I looked to the side there like I didn't already know that? I don't have notes right here in front of me. Just One Bite in season 3. So that being in the background is kind of odd because you're not gonna see any of that. Like if that like made you really interested as a kid, like you weren't gonna get any reveal of that in this disc. You have this moment where Patrick and SpongeBob get launched out of the chairs inside Sandy's rocket. And oh, can you imagine if that happened in real life? Like, there's no way you would live, like, your skeleton would still be like sitting there in your chair after you had departed from this life. So special features, again, you've got Sandy there with her tail out, but we've already talked about that. Just kind of a weird thing to have for season 1. Let's go ahead and check out the Karate Choppers audio commentary and see what little Easter eggs and fun facts we find inside of it. So in Karate Choppers, you get the opening scene there, them all introducing themselves.
Hi, I'm Tom Kenny, and I play SpongeBob SquarePants.
Bill Fagerbakke with the Patrick Star character here.
And Roger Bumpus is Squidward J. Tentacles.
It's rather uneventful comparatively to the one for Plankton, but you do get some explanation on some amazing moments. This episode, we have one of the original SpongeBob cell pieces here in the cavern. So really cool to be reacting to this episode and kind of have a piece of its history here in the, it's over there. That's why I keep looking that way. If you're wondering why I'm looking over there, it's like a magic rabbit or something. It is over there. You have the iconic shot where you get SpongeBob getting ready to take the drop of volcano sauce that Sandy's about to pour on his tongue, a particular drop of hot sauce to be very, very hot. And Tom Kenny talks about how they just filmed that scene in the bathroom at Nickelodeon Studios.
Oh, Tom, it's your big moment.
This was shot in the bathroom at Nickelodeon, by the way. They just put red makeup on my face and said, roll your eyes around and be crazy.
Never viewing that restaurant the same again.
Yeah. And I had to go to another job and the red makeup wouldn't come off all the way. So I just looked like I had high blood pressure.
I can also say that the music in this particular part is like one of the best in SpongeBob. Like, just listen to that. I'm sorry you had to see that. I know my dance moves aren't really that desirable. But thanks for sticking through it. But as for the rest of the audio commentary on Karate Choppers, it's just them having a good time, laughing, talking to each other. Nothing super groundbreaking as for behind the scenes information or anything like that, except for that Clancy Brown did have to sign a nudity cause for this moment here. Okay, so working our way out of disc number 2 here. That one was amazing too, but now we're going on to the big one, which is disc number 3. So looking at the cover, you got honestly a little bit of a horrifying cover. You got SpongeBob getting straight up violated right there by the hook. You got the hook pulling him up. Another piece that we actually have an original art piece from that episode here in the cavern. I always thought that the scene where SpongeBob gets hooked by the hook is such an intense moment as a kid.
Oh no, Mr. Krabs. I can't take off my pants. Not in front of all these girls. No, okay, I'm taking them off.
And you really don't know what his fate's gonna be. I had to get an art piece from there. And even more than that, I love this shot I got of the reaction of the judgmental teenage girls being Pearl and her friends right before he realizes he has to take his pants off in order to avoid his, what could be his trip to Shell City. Don't you just love that? Groups of judgmental people. But what makes this whole shot so traumatizing is that Patrick does not seem to be bothered whatsoever. But this is the big one here. We have only a few episodes in here, about 4. But the reason why there's so few episodes is because of the fact that we have so many special features in here. So let's go ahead and throw this disc in as well and see what we've got in store. There we go. First try that time. Okay, that's just not even fair. So getting into disc number 3, of course, you get again some of those freeze frame moments for the characters. But I mean, you guys already have seen the gag a few times. Like, what else could I really do to freeze frame? I did my Coke, I did me. I'm gonna use the restroom real quick and then we'll come right back and we're gonna check out the inside of this disc. So right into it, we have a big old list of special features, and these ones are incredible. I have a favorite one, We'll talk about it, but let's just start from the top here. So first off, you have the origin of SpongeBob SquarePants. I'll play the opening here so you can get an idea from Steven Hillenburg about the origin of the show briefly, but we're not gonna go too far into each of these behind the scenes, because again, this video is already super long. But not just that, the origin of SpongeBob is definitely warranted of its own video.
Harry Helling, the director, asked me to do a comic book about tide pool ecology. And so I came up with this idea of doing this comic book called The Intertidal Zone. And it starred basically all these invertebrate sea creatures from the tide pools in Southern California, such as sea star, barnacles, shore crabs. And actually the host was a sponge named Bob, but not like SpongeBob. He was a natural-looking sponge.
And yes, that comic book right there, The Intertidal Zone, at the time of them filming this around 2002, 2003, all we had for the Intertidal Zone comic book was these screenshots that appear in this behind the scenes. But as of right now, the entire comic book has been leaked. Somebody that was friends with one of the people that worked at the institute that Steven actually worked at put it up online so everybody could check it out, which I'm so grateful that they actually did that, because as a fan, I've always wanted to see it. And we might be doing something special here on the show to get our own copy of the Intertidal Zone. But we'll have to wait. So SpongeBob was created from the Intertidal Zone comic book. That was his origin, but it wasn't the SpongeBob that we all know and love today. The first ever drawing of SpongeBob does appear in this same little special feature here, and boom, there he goes. So SpongeBob had the glow up of 1996, man. Except for Michael Jordan, maybe, who got his 6th championship in 1996. How did I miss a fictional shot? Huh. So right after that one, you've got the recollection of the first season crew. We'll take a look at this one real quickly. I'll put some of the names up on screen. Everybody on this is legends and why SpongeBob became the monument of our childhood. But one person I want to talk about is Jenny Monica. And she in this is listed as a casting and music supervisor. Believe it or not, from what I know, she started off as Steven Hillenburg's assistant. And if you look at where she's gone from here till now, she is like one of the biggest components in modern day SpongeBob and kind of keeping its core values what they are. She went from assistant all the way to executive producer of the show. If that doesn't show what hard work and commitment can do, that I really don't know what else does. And I'm so glad she's still a part of the show today. But again, everybody in this is worth their own video, in my opinion. But briefly touching on that was some of the notable aspects I wanted to mention. So then after this, we have Everybody Talks, the voices of SpongeBob SquarePants, where they break down how they came up with the voices for SpongeBob, what Steven had in mind, and how they kind of honed in on finding that. One of the best parts of this section to me is Tom Kenny kind of explaining SpongeBob's voice and process of showing off those different inflections of SpongeBob.
The range
Where he was going to be, we knew that we wanted something really cartoony, but also Munchkin-y. I remember thinking of the Munchkins, follow the Yellow Brick Road,
as kind of a template, and then we kind of fine-tuned it from there so that it wasn't just a squeaky voice.
so that there were highs and lows, and there was a thing that he did where he was trying to be cool and, hey baby, you know, and then when he was scared, his voice would go up higher. And
I have so much love for Tom Kenny. The man is a true talent and just an absolute legend. And again, I know for a lot of you guys that are watching all over the world, you have a different voice actor for SpongeBob. So I'm not saying, of course, those people are all super talented as well too. But of course, as you might do, I'm gonna go with my guy, Tom Kenny. USA, baby! You know how you can't say USA? USA! You gotta, USA, baby! You gotta have a blood vein in your in your forehead. And also we get the first ever time Tom Kenny did the voice of SpongeBob SquarePants alongside Steven Hillenburg actually doing the voice of Squidward. And the first ever audio is contained on a cassette tape, a cassette recording of the two of them. It's in really low audio quality, but just being that it exists and getting to hear it here is just incredible. So I wanted to share that with you guys a little bit too.
And that was the first time that we ever spoke on tape as those characters.
hundreds of creatures swim through these doors every day in our undersea community, depending on you to serve them nutritious, delicious, reasonably priced food in a clean, family-friendly environment.
Look! I've been standing around on my tentacles since 8 o'clock this morning, and I don't have the strength to listen to this.
Who depends on you, you may ask? Well, let's just start with the A's. Aaron Anchovy, LB Albacore.
Okay, so next up, this has got to be one of my favorite features on any DVD ever. Yes, even better than Scooby-Doo's Spooky Smorgasbord on the live action movies DVD. I almost lost all recollection of the second grade because of that special feature. It was an addiction like no other. There's like meth, cigarettes, K-pop, Spooky Smorgasbord. It was tough. But this special feature is the Bikini Bottom bottoms up tour of Bikini Bottom. And I just felt an immense pain in my chest out of the lack of features and awesomeness that we have in current days DVDs when I think about this again. Anyway, we have a tour of Bikini Bottom with special content, film shots of Tom Kenny dressed as Patchy, along with a completely interactive map of Bikini Bottom within a DVD special feature. So let's pop it open.
Ahoy, sponge lovers! I'm Patchy the Pirate, and welcome to the Bikini Bottoms Up Tour. Using the arrows and the enter button on your DVD remote, you can find out more about my favorite place on Earth, Bikini Bottom. Well, let's get going. What do you mean you can't find the remote? Look in the cushions. The other cushion. I can wait. You got it yet? Let's go!
So once you get into the map, you get to be able to select any different location. Well, not any, right? The map is limited. You get SpongeBob's house, Squidward's house, and then Patrick's house just got obliterated off of the map. Like he's just not there. They were like, what do you want to go to Patrick's house for anyway? Like you got the tour when he opens the door. There's nothing. Just sand and a lamp that comes and goes. You get the Krusty Krab and then you get Sandy's tree dome. So let's just click on SpongeBob's house to give you an example.
Ah, that there is SpongeBob's house. I think his house kind of suits his personality. Sugary, sweet, and very good smelling.
So once you get into SpongeBob's house, you're in his living room, you're able to click on Gary, the phone, the couch, the other couch, I guess the smaller couch, I think it would be called the chair, and it gives you either a Patchy clip or a sound effect. And again, I wish I could show you every single piece of this. It really could be its own video. My favorite one in the living room is definitely SpongeBob answering the phone and explaining the word pronto to Gary. I mean, he's a snail. What would he know about pronto?
Hello, caller. You have reached SpongeBob SquarePants. I'm away from the pineapple now, but leave a message at the tone and I'll get back to you pronto. That means quickly, Gary.
And then once you get to Squidward's house, I was gonna leave it at that, but once you get to Squidward's house, you just get Patchy just like roasting Squidward over and over again.
That there's the domicile of Squidward tentacles. When you look at Squidward, you'll notice that he's all head, and so's his house, just like him. Brooding, mean, crabby. The difference is that with Squidward's real head, nobody's home.
Like, why is he so angry right now? And then when you click on his mirror in his house, look at this.
When Squidward's not painting himself, he likes to look at his reflection. Don't ask me why. If you hear awful noises coming from Squidward's house, don't call the cops. He's just displaying his musical ability. What musical ability? Squidward is a wannabe artist who has never sold a painting. Why? Maybe because the only thing he paints is himself. Who would want that?
It's like the Top Kitty was not having it that day with Squiddy. So there's still the Krusty Krab, Sandy's house, and there's way more to SpongeBob and Squidward's house. Like I said, that we could be doing this whole video on that, so we'll hold it there for now. Let's go ahead and go on to the next special feature. But to be honest, after this, it's a lot of karaoke related stuff and songs. You have the Key of the Sea, Krusty Krab karaoke. The Drawing of Goo Lagoon. This is a special feature that's on one of the special release discs. We'll be covering that when we get to that disc, as well as SpongeBob's life strategies. I'm gonna cover that when we get to the disc that contains SpongeBob's life strategies. You have the Violent Femmes singing SpongeBob, which we covered in the Nautical Nonsense. SpongeBob Scaredy Pants music video and the SpongeBob Dancing Pants music video. And that completes all three discs. Let's summarize this with some nautical nerdy knowledge, being some facts in the box, this disc here, and some of the episodes within it. First little piece of knowledge is here is all of the other covers for the release of this box set around the world. This isn't all of them, but a lot of them. Next one is that season 1 recently did get a re-release, and we did get a box set for it. The regular season box is very similar to this right here. You have the flaps. You can flip around and have all 3 discs in it, and it does contain everything that's inside of this box set, but just not nearly as cool looking if you ask me. But there was one that was about the same size as this one, and it came with a toothbrush. Your guess is as good as mine as to why there's one with the toothbrush. I don't know what connection. They don't know why there's a toothbrush that comes with it, but there's that. And I have it. I don't know why I have it, but I don't know why I do a lot of things. Most things, really. And I've got one more interesting fact that I'm going to share with you. If you guys haven't already, though, hit the like button. Would appreciate that. Subscribe. This channel is not that big, so any subscription at all, it helps immensely. Again, go check out our Patreon. You can sign up for only $2 a month. That helps keep this channel going. And you get extended versions of all the videos that I upload on my other channel, as well as early releases of many of the videos, including this one. So go take a look at it. We're also on Whatnot. I stream every single Friday if you guys are interested. But for the last fact, the green labeling has kind of disappeared. It is a bygone era where from after 2004, we started seeing all the products switch out of this style. But still today, if you go on Apple TV or Amazon Prime Video and you look for SpongeBob episodes, in particular the early seasons, they use the green labeling style. In the green labeling style with the modern logo and a more modern image of SpongeBob, but still that green labeling to promote as the thumbnail for SpongeBob SquarePants. So it still lives on in some ways today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, leave a like, and I will see you beautiful people in the next video. Bloop.